Yes, thank you very much. Hello, everybody. So until now, we've heard some positive inputs, although I'm not quite sure who's right of you three. So it's from positive to neutral, which I think at least is positive. There were no negative comments, but we still see here one question on the the presentation is quite sad, because the benefits are based on cheap labor of migrants, and I wanted to start already over there. So what we heard so far is that the economic impacts are beneficial until more neutral, and I asked myself the question why societies are still fearful for the concept of immigration, that people whom we don't know come to our countries. And so I represent the German Public Employment Service, and in Germany in the 20th century we started with immigration already in the 50s, and there were a lot of people coming to Germany, especially from the southern European countries, including Turkey. And what Germany missed to do, because they were thinking these people are coming to Germany to work here, and afterwards, when we don't need them anymore, they will go back to their foreign countries, and they stayed. And we still see in our statistics of the German Public Employment Service that from these groups there are a lot of people that are not in a positive position, and would like to start over there. For example, the employment rate with Germans is with 82%, and with migrants it's about 70%. So that's one. We've heard a few things in the past hour about gross income. With Germans it's about 59% have a gross income over 3,000 euros. With migrants that's only 35%. Amongst Germans we have a gross income under 2,000 euros, and with migrants that's about 32%. And the unemployment rate finally is about 4% for Germans, and about 13% if you have a migration background. So clearly, if we talk about unemployment, it's about we have about 45% of people with a migration background, and clearly this group is overrepresented. And the question is, what causes do they have? And one is, and we already heard that already, is that they have a lower education, or they are lacking vocational qualifications, or the vocational qualifications are not recognized. Also with the school leavers, amongst Germans, 1.7% have no certificate. If you have a migration background, it's already 22%. So that is a problem with the people with a migration background. And I say migration background because I firstly wanted to focus on the people that have been living on first, second and third generation since the 50s already. This is the group of migrants we're discussing about from a labor market perspective in Germany, before we started talking about the refugees and the big influx that we had since 2015. I would also like to say something about the European migrants. Since 2002, I think it was, since 2002 we have freedom of movement and working in Europe. That is also very beneficial. Amongst others, I benefited from that. I'm Dutch myself, so and I'm able to work and live in Germany because of the freedom of movement, and lots of people as well. We also see that the average income amongst Europeans in Germany is almost the same as as Germans. It's 4.6% less, but that's quite okay. There's a high rate of employment and a low rate of unemployment, so that's quite good. That means Germany needs to, in the next coming years, become more sexy for European youngsters and people in employment, to try to get them in to Germany, which is not quite easy, so to say. because there's other countries where you can start working with another language. For example, English is quite good. If you want to work in Holland, an employer would rather say, if you don't speak Dutch, that's not a problem. We start off with French or English or anything else. In Germany, that's not quite easy. You need at least German knowledge with the qualification framework of B2. Now, also the refugees, I would like to make a point of that as well. We all know here that in 2015, our Chancellor, Angela Merkel, decided end of August in 2015 to open the doors because there was a large influx of refugees or people that wanted to claim asylum already in Europe. And the question was, do we get them into Germany, yes or no? And the Chancellor said, yes, we get them into Germany. We have seen that in 2015 and 16 we had a large influx. In 2017, 18 and now also 19, the influx was not that large anymore. We have now applications for asylum seekers of about 12,000 per month. That is, I would say, if you compare them for the last years, it's not that much anymore. The Chancellor also said, "Wir schaffen das." That is the most cited sentence of her. We can do it. That's what she said. We can do it. And also in 2019, we see that we can do it, and we have managed the large influx. In terms of costs, yes, that has cost a few things. Momentarily, we have about 900,000 people living on social welfare. These are the refugees. These are not the people that have a claim for asylum. These are the people that are really the refugees, and they will stay for a longer time in Germany. And all these people are able to go into integration courses and language courses as well. We come to a mediation quote of these people into the labor market of 100,000 per year, which is also quite good. We can be happy with that. Because most of the refugees did not speak German before they came to Germany. One last thing I would like to make a statement on. The question is, where is Germany going in the next years, 2030, 2035, concerning European migration from third countries, and also in dealing with the refugees that we've taken up already now. I said 5 minutes ago, Germany needs to be more sexy because we are in desperate need of skilled labor, and that's one of the things that is also felt like, you know, within the population. People know that we need more skilled labor. But the population, or large amounts of the population, don't want people that live on tax and the social system. And to try to get that into a balance, that is quite difficult. Also in the felt sense, you know, what does a population think, and what are politicians saying? Are we going into the right direction or not? And that's why I also started my input now with a question towards the scientific people on this panel. So where are we on integration? Because I think this is one of the most important things. A population needs to get one answer: we're doing fine, we can manage it. And this is exactly what our Chancellor said in 2015. We can manage this. You can believe it or not, but you need one exact answer also from guys like you. Is a country doing fine or not? So yes, and we need skilled labor. Until 2030, by the way, we've set up, or the government in Germany has set up a monitoring on skilled labor. You can see that online as well. And according to this monitoring, by 2030, 12% of all the jobs will be automized, 12% of the jobs will be automized, and 31% of all jobs will change through automation. And that obviously has also an impact on the people we're talking about today, namely the migrants. I already said to you that there's a high number of the people that we have in our budget as a public employment service, also on the social welfare and on social welfare and on the can't find the word. Customers of ours, they are lower qualified than Germans. So there will be an impact that if 31% of the jobs will change through to automation, that means that these people will need to upskill, and that is one of our key positions and key profiles that we have as a public employment service. 25% of all jobs will have substitution potential through to automation. Amongst the low-skilled, it's about 58%, and among the high-skilled, it's about 54%. So, until 2025, the working population will go up until 46%, and then afterwards it will reduce. It will reduce to 45%, and if you take that into combination with the substitution potential, this is something that we have to work about until then. Structural change, yes, structural change. Also, the population is getting older. We heard about that not this morning, but yesterday we were talking about that. Population is getting older. That's why it has also a positive benefit if we have new migrants that also bring children with them towards our countries, in this case Germany. I see that as a very positive thing. What Germany is also doing now, and it's not only Germany, it's also the Länder and the municipalities. We are focusing more on the integration aspect, which we did not do in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And by the way, we had in all these years since the 70s, because until the 70s we needed the people to come in low-skilled jobs, by the way, only low-skilled jobs. We only wanted to have people in low-skilled jobs. They were the ones that stayed. So we've learned from that, and to set more on to set more priorities on the integration. We're doing that as well, and especially the children that come now need more integration aspects already in school. So one final thing, I see I still have 2 minutes, what the government in Germany is doing now, because of the groups which I've just discussed, the migrants already being there for the first, second and generation for the past 30, 40 years. We're focusing on them. We are focusing on the rest of other European countries to become more interesting for them to come to Germany. And we are also focusing now, since this year, onto getting more skilled labor from third countries from outside Europe, with a number of migration acts. If we want to have more people from third countries from outside Europe, we want to have them with a recognition of their degrees. That is one point, but they can also travel towards Germany if they do not have the recognition yet, but to get that recognition within 3 years. And we have the possibility, us as a public employment service, also to set up contracts with other languages with other countries outside Europe, to set up mediation schemes with these countries. We're working on that now. I don't have the countries yet, but by the end of the year we will have them, and we will put that in place starting in January 2020. One last thing, we also have a recognition act since 2012. That means that everybody that has done studies or had their degrees in another country, they can claim. They can claim for recognition since 2012, so that is also yeah, a good thing. I think I will leave it with that. I'm there for questions, yeah.